Bonjour, Guten Tag, welcome to the fucking EU. This is Why Libertarian. I'm Matt. Normally I'm here Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. Tonight I was supposed to go on with Shane Hazel. If you do not follow Shane Hazel, definitely follow Shane. It's at Shane Hazel on Twitter. And we're going to reschedule. I'm going on Monday night with Shane. But there's just been a ton of stuff, and I figured, you know what? I had the time slot scheduled. I'm coming on. I got to talk about some of the stuff that's been going on. There's been stuff that has been absolutely ridiculous and not worth the time talking about it or the breath wasted. I really don't care how racist the royal family is. They're a bunch of old waspy rich motherfuckers who live off the taxpayers of the UK. I really could give less than a shit. I'm pretty sure I knew they were racist before that interview happened, okay? And the last thing I need to do is to be told by a billionaire and a couple of millionaires what racism is in the royal family in the UK, all right? If that's the bug that's stuck up your ass right now, you're not paying attention, okay? You are paying attention to the shit they want you to pay attention to as opposed to the stuff that is actually important in your life. A quick reminder, I take live comments and questions. You want to talk about, the news of the day? Let's go. Throw it in the comments. I will take your comments and questions live. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Help me with the algorithm. Get it out there so we can get some folks this information because it's important, dude. Like, the emperor has no clothes, but the most important thing is what they're trying to get you to pay attention to. That is not the emperor's nakedness that's going on, and that's the problem right now. So, to the point of today, welcome to the EU, folks. We finally made it. All those years of, European vacations where they told us that, Americans were brash and they had no couth and there was no, we didn't put our pinky up when we drank shit and we cursed too much and we always leave the place dirty and all this other stuff, okay? All of that elitism looking down their nose, for some reason, for decades, now all of a sudden we have a group of people in Washington, D.C., a bunch of tyrants and thieves, a bunch of people that condescend to basically want to control our lives that are now basically remaking us after the European Union. And it is happening at lightning speed. And it is not a good thing, obviously. It is anti-freedom, it's anti-liberty, it's not sustainable. You're talking about, borrowing and money printing that is in record proportions. absolutely record proportions, and no one's paying attention to it. They're paying attention to, whether or not they're getting their props based off of the color of their skin or how they identify, in terms of their sexuality. They're worried about whether or not the Royals are racist or not. They're worried about whether or not, Dr. Seuss or Pepe Le Pew or whatever. Who gives a shit? Mr. Potato Head? Fuck Mr. Potato Head. We've got runaway spending. We've got war. We're on the brink of freaking war. We do business with all the wrong people because it brings money into the elites. And we freaking kill brown people overseas in mass quantities. And we're worried about fucking Mr. Potato Head? No, stop. Stop it. That stuff is a smokescreen to get you to pay attention to the dumb pop culture bullshit that they want you to pay attention to, okay? I feel like I'm yelling out into the void, but people are beginning to wake up, and I will show you why the people in D.C. know what's happening too, all right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the stimmy. Everyone's getting a stimmy check. Oh, man, I'm getting my check. I'm going to get whatever. There's all kinds of questions. What are you gonna buy with it? I can tell you myself on the record, guns and crypto. If I feel like I have too much crypto, I'm buying gold, silver, platinum, diamonds. That's what I'm buying, okay, with my stimmy. You know why? Because the money they're sending you, it's not worth toilet paper. You'd be better off wiping your ass if you couldn't buy something else with it. Buy something else that actually has some value and has some control over the supply of it. Because what they're sending you right now is worthless. You don't know it yet. And the problem is that the people that aren't in the know are the ones that are eventually going to get screwed. If you know it, buy something else with it of value. Do not keep it in dollar bills. All right, right now, I am going to show you something that is just infuriating, okay? Biden was elected on the pretense that, the stimmy check should have been $2,000. We only got $600, okay? So Biden's going to come in like the knight on the knight on the white horse, the cavalry. He's going to come in. He's going to get us our extra $1,400, which is ridiculous in and of itself because someone from New Jersey, $1,400 is like a couple of expensive meals in this damn state, all right? But what happens? They end up passing $1.9 trillion in stimulus. Well, where does it go? This is fantastic. This is Valley Forge. That's what Pelosi said. Valley Forge. I feel like we're at Valley Forge, the place where a bunch of revolutionary soldiers died because they didn't have enough food and because they were sick and because it was snowing and cold. That's what this is, the stimulus. It's Valley Forge. Okay, well, so for people that come out of government schools, if you don't understand the ridiculousness of that equivalency, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Okay, you make sure to keep putting the mirror to your nose so that it fogs up so that you know you're actually still alive. Okay, $1.9 trillion in stimulus. This is money we don't have. Okay, I can't stress this fucking enough. This is money we don't have, on top of money we didn't have for the second stimulus, on top of money we didn't have for the first stimulus. This is borrowed funds from the future. Your grandkids and your great-grandkids will have a worse life because of this stimulus. Where does it go? First of all, unemployment benefits. We're extending unemployment benefits again, and we're giving people an additional $300. We're fucking opening up. Even New Jersey, even Dictator Murphy said that these places are opening up to 50%. Unemployment benefits, dude, it's gone on long enough, man. This is just long enough to keep people on the till to make them quiet. It doesn't help anyone. It's hush money, okay? Further unemployment benefits to push this thing through, okay? Stimulus checks. We're all getting $1,400, but, whoa, hold on. Nope. All the people that make over, I forget what it was, $80,000, $75,000 a year as an individual, $150,000 as a couple. You'll if you're under that, you get the full stimmy, right? If you're over that, I think they phase it out, or maybe even you don't get anything at all pretty quickly. Okay, so the majority of the people that still have good-paying jobs that will pay this shit off, don't get anything. Let me say that again: the majority of people with good-paying jobs don't get anything. And they're the ones that are going to get stuck with this bill, at least in the near term. All right? What else does it go towards? Child tax credits. They're giving you money for having kids, and on top of that, they're also giving you child tax credits. So it's basically money that you didn't pay in tax. Some people paid the money in tax and get it back. The majority of people didn't pay the money in, and they will get money back from the federal government. So they're basically it's just another form of welfare, is basically what it is. It's just an expansion of the welfare state without calling that. Here's the big one. Aid to state and local governments. Okay? A bunch of it is going to states, cities, and tribal governments in the U.S. territories. And guess what? They are states, cities, and tribal governments in the U.S. territories that squandered money. And it wasn't just squandered money from the last 12 or 15 months. It squandered money from the last 20 years. And it's going to fill their budget deficits. That's where it's going. So we are the European Union. That's what we've done. We've nationalized the shitty spending habits of states in the Union so that people that actually did good things with their money and were smart and saved and didn't overspend their budgets are now subsidizing all of the drunk sailors that spent indiscriminately and just spent on program after program after program without any consideration as far as return on investment or whether or not we had the money or what the future was going to look like. It was just buying votes in the here and now. We just subsidized that negative behavior. So guess what? You're going to get more of it. Within the last 12, 15 months, we've had more money printed than at any point in time in the history of man. You're going to get more of it. No one learned their lesson. They were positively incentivized to do this crap, and they're going to do more of it. Pandemic response. We're giving tens of billions of dollars to fund coronavirus testing, contact tracing, increasing the size of the public health workforce. We don't need this shit. This is a jobs program. It is a bullshit jobs program. There is technology out there that can do every single piece of this. They could have crowdsourced it, but they want to buy votes. So they want someone who's dependent upon a government contract or a government salary that votes to continually perpetuate that. Guaranteed, when this shit's over, if it's ever over, those people will be kept on the salary because you'll need people to track someone who has flu, or you'll need people to track someone who has the cold. They won't fire them. These will be perpetual jobs forever. That's the way this shit works. Assistance will also go to schools. School support, right? Schools haven't been fucking open. They haven't been open. Their operating costs are less. Why do they need support? We're giving them additional money. What just happened here in New Jersey? We borrowed $10 billion, and the governor said magically, we have a surplus. It's not a surplus when you borrow 10 and you have 3 left over. That's red money. It's borrowed money. That's not a surplus. That's a loan you didn't use yet. That money went towards paying off the teachers' unions because it's an election year. It went towards public worker pensions because it's an election year. He needs votes. And then he says, oh, the taxes didn't go up. Well, they didn't go up because you borrowed all of the money. They will go up after you're reelected. But everyone thinks that he's the Messiah because they didn't go up 1 year. And on top of that, magically, he found a way to fund pensions in the public works system. Look, this $130 billion that's going to K-12 schools, they don't need it. They don't need it. It's blood money. It's vote money. That's all it is. We're basically keeping them on public assistance, which is essentially what we're doing to a ton of other people, as opposed to giving them the freedom and the ability to actually run their own life, get a job, support themselves, and feel like they're able to accomplish something. That's it. We can just print more money, right? It's all right. It's not going to happen. Nothing bad's going to happen. We'll just print more, right? Worked really well for, Nigeria and whoever, Tanzania, and like every single one of these countries. Shit, Cuba at one point in time. We'll just print more. We can print ourselves into prosperity. We don't have to worry about increases in productivity. We don't have to worry about increases in the number of jobs and things. We'll just print more money. That's all it takes. Too many state of zombies are eating this up. We suffer because they vote for this. Yeah, they do. And you know what? In some cases, I can't blame them, but I can, right? Like, if they've been put in this situation, and this is something I wanted to get at the end of the show, but I'll say it now because it needs to be said now and in the middle of the show and at the end and forever. Laws don't take away your rights. Laws don't take away your rights. If a law passes and it breaches or infringes on your rights, the only way that that is actually successful in doing it is if you allow it. I'm going to say that again because this is the most important thing. I think I might just have it like tattooed on my fucking forehead so I can just walk around with this on my forehead. Laws can't take away your rights. They can't. The only way that they're successful in doing that is if you're complicit, if you allow it. When this stuff happens, stop paying taxes. Stop it. All of these people, look, a lot of people want to be nice and understanding and giving and forthright. They don't want to be confrontational. If you're in the middle class, you have something to lose. You're worried that like it might impact you or your family, your kids, your spouse, right? Your extended family. But the problem is that they bank on that. They bank on it. They bank on you being afraid of losing what little you have left. And it is death by 1,000 paper cuts. And I am livid. I am livid by what I've seen over the last 48 hours. And if you're not livid, you're not paying attention. My wife used to have a bumper sticker on her car that said, if you're not angry, you're not paying attention. We're living in the EU right now. So what do we get for this 1.9 trillion in, I'll use air quotes, stimulus? What are we stimulating? Well, we got all of that spending. A good buddy of mine who's running in Legislative District 4 down in South Jersey, Nick Magner. This dude's a boss, okay? He's running against a freaking rhino of all rhinos, all right? He needs to win this race. And this is why, because he gets it. He understands. The rhinos don't get it. They won't come up and say something like this. $1.9 trillion divided by the number of tax-paying Americans is $13,250 for every tax-paying American. You're getting a $1,400 check. I don't even think I have to say anything. That's 10%. That's a fucking tip. That's the money on the nightstand on the end of the night so you can take a fucking taxi home. If you know what I'm saying. 10%. Someone else did the math and they said, look, if you look at all of the various stimulus that you've had throughout this entire pandemic, throughout this entire crisis, if all of that stimulus went to you as an individual, you would have had over $100,000 given to you, depending on what your family makeup looks like. I would have had over $100,000 given to me. What could I have done with that money? Pay down debt, right? Invest in things that aren't the US dollar, which is what I would implore everyone to do. $100,000. If you're their average taxpayer, $40,000, $50,000, what could you do with $40,000 or $50,000? A whole lot more than you could do for $1,400. This is let them eat cake shit. Like, I can't stress this enough. This is Catherine the Great not understanding. I'm pretty sure it was Catherine, or maybe it was Marie Antoinette. Maybe it was Marie Antoinette, right? Saying, let them eat cake. That's what it is. Let them have their $1,400. They can go buy cake. This is Pelosi sitting in her palatial kitchen, showing you her $20 a quart gelato, a pint gelato. Oh, well, I have this wonderful gelato. It's fantastic. It costs $20 a pint. There are poor people that vote for this sycophant, this tyrant, this thief. Poor people who think she has their best interest in mind. Are you like? I can't even. I can't even. Like it is unfathomable that people are this blind to what's going on. It is robbery. It is fraud on the grandest scale. Like Al Capone he's not even in the minors. He's in fucking Little League. These motherfuckers are stealing trillions of dollars from adults, from kids, and from kids who haven't even been born yet. Capone never did that. He never stole money from the unborn. These people are able to do it because we let them. We let them. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. This is something I'm going to share with you that is like, this is, I can't even like, I get it, but it's like, you know, we're totally stimulating inflation. That's all we're stimulating. There's no stimulus. The economy will not grow. There won't be increased productivity. Dude, Shane, I love you, brother. I Monday night, we're gonna fucking light it up. I hope everything's taken care of. We're gonna light some fires and kick the tires, buddy. If you're not following Shane Hazel, follow Shane. I don't even know if it's liberalism, Branson Whiskey. Like, I don't even know if it's just liberalism. Like, the left does not have a monopoly on this. Republicans are complicit. They're complicit. Like, the only person that stood up, I'll talk about, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the universal background checks. The only person who stood up and actually made a legitimate argument was Thomas Massie. He's the only one in Congress who still has a brain cell left. All the rest of them, and to that point, he's still an establishment guy. He's still like a believer. He still thinks the system can be fixed, right? Quite frankly, from my standpoint, like I said, laws can't take away your rights. Elected officials, people that are in Congress that are seeing this happen in front of them, like this is the problem I have with Justin Amash. If you're such a libertarian, you should be standing in front of people like me and like everyone else that's carrying the flag and tell us, you know what? Fuck the laws if they're unconstitutional. Fuck them. Laws can't take away your rights. That's not the way it works. They only take away your rights if you allow it. If you're complicit in it. If you roll over and fucking play dead. That's how you turn into the EU. That's how you turn into a police state. And I would tell you we are in one right now. I don't know if anyone saw, but the naked cowboy in Florida got arrested for aggressive panhandling. Aggressive panhandling. The guy takes pictures with people and plays songs. That's aggressive panhandling. And he got arrested. There's an ordinance that doesn't allow you to badger people. How about you just walk away? Wait, why do we got to send someone to jail for that shit? It's a police state. And that's mild compared to this other stuff. You get caught carrying a handgun in a state that doesn't allow you to exercise your Second Amendment rights, you're going to prison for something you should be able to do without any ink and paper. Like, it doesn't take the Bill of Rights. Republicans are no different and done as much, if not more, damage as Democrats. I'll tell you, I will agree with you, Sir Ludwig, because the answer is that they've been complicit because they do this and then they don't act. And they don't have the balls to stand up and say, this law is unconstitutional. If it passes, Americans should not follow it. They don't have those balls. They need to grow a set or they're going to continue to lose. Shane's my man. This is like, this needs to be like, this should be the libertarian motto going forward. Laws don't matter when they conflict with your rights. It's going to get to the point where it gets violent. And it will be warranted. And I don't want it to get there. I don't want my family to have to live in that place. I don't want my family to live in that country where we have to stand up for things and fight against each other. But it's getting there. If one of these states decides to secede, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be political jockeying, and they're not going to let it happen. And that's the spark. I'm telling you right now, that's the spark. A state will try and stop them from interfering in state business, to stop them from violating the 10th Amendment, and that will be the spark. Laws don't matter when they violate your rights. If you don't follow Shane Hazel, follow Shane Hazel. That's what I'm saying. Yes, the naked cowboy does do it in his underwear. Which is a little gross. Maybe it's unhygienic. I don't know. But does it deserve going to jail? He's a little weird, right? But it's just an example. We live in a freaking police state. What's the next thing we got? They know. Okay? The people in D.C. know. They know what the tenor of the environment is. They have people on the ground to gauge the temperature. And this is what you get. You get militarized politics. You get a National Guard that protects the pristine halls of the Capitol building. They protect, there is a fence around the White House. There is armed guards and snipers on all of these buildings to stop you from gaining access to these people. They are no more important than you are. They're no better than you. And the only reason why they're more powerful than you is because you let them. There is an awakening happening. They need to keep military between them and us because they know. Because they know that when they pass this shit, when they put their foot on the gas for this authoritarian bullshit that they're putting out there, that they need guns between them and us. Because it's the only thing that will protect them. They know, they understand that that is the sentiment of the people that are waking up. I wish I could, the gift I would give to everyone, if I could, is that first breath of true freedom, of true understanding of what life used to be like versus what it truly is. That freedom of understanding that everything that you, it's scary, but it's exhilarating at the same time. Everything you used to know is bullshit. The Constitution, the hallowed symbols of the United States, the flag and everything like that, it has been used to indoctrinate and propagandize people into being farm animals. That's what we are. We are no better than the cattle that just aimlessly walk into the abattoir because that's what we're trained to do. And we're told that it's what's best for us. I can't even. I feel like my blood pressure is affected every day when I see this stuff come out. I can't even begin to explain the feelings of I feel like I've been hit in the heart by a country that I used to love. I used to be, I was one of those people who was a neocon. I was raised as a Republican, a hardcore Republican. Religious conservative through and through. That's what I was raised as. And at certain points along the way, I felt like I was just, I was duped. I was read a fucking, fraudulent Bill of Rights. It was dangled in front of me. And then on the back end, people just laughed. legislators, the president, police. I come from a police family. My father would never condescend to violate someone's constitutional rights. He took an oath to defend them. And now we have an entire class of police officers, functionaries of the state, whose job it is to enforce unconstitutional laws. But at the same time, they still take the same pledge to enforce the Constitution, to uphold the Constitution. There is a mental disconnect. There is a short circuit that is happening in this country. And if we don't understand what the truth of it is, then we are going to descend into something that you don't want to see and you don't want your children to see. The fight is now. It's not in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. The fight is now. We're at the cliff. I want a political cartoonist to work with me because I have this image of two, like a donkey and an elephant at the wheel of the Titanic. And the iceberg is coming up. And on it, it says financial ruin and police state. And they're saying, we got to pull left. And the other one's saying, we got to pull right. And there's a porcupine in the back going, why don't we just fucking stop? Why don't we stop? It takes a collective will to be able to understand that this country was not founded on rule followers. We weren't founded under the idea that there was a set of rules and we were going to follow those. We were founded under principles of rights and freedoms. And rules be damned. People lived under the premise that we were free people. And they fought and died for that. And we've lost that. We are victims of our own success. I hope we avoid Civil War 2.0. I don't fault the Boog. They're not wrong. If enough people don't wake up and understand that the emperor has no clothes, if enough people don't wake up and understand that laws aren't the end-all be-all, then we will get there. It will happen. It will be a self-fulfilling prophecy for the bureaucrats that see it coming, that arm themselves and their protectors because they know we're not happy. And there's a handful of us that can see the truth of it. But they throw it in our face. They act like we don't notice, and a lot of us don't. They use us against ourselves. I don't care what political flag you lie under. If you think you're allowed to make the decisions for me, and if I make the wrong decisions, the government can use force to make me make those decisions, you and I are not friends. You're an enemy. And I hope that you don't become an enemy, like, perpetually. I hope that you finally see the light and you can become one of the free people. Biden doesn't show up. It's a good point. He doesn't show up. I'm pretty sure I know, like, there's two reasons why. I think one is, like, he's on his last brain cell. So, like, that's probably why. They don't want egg on their face of putting him in a big public spot, right? But I think the other factor is he's not at the driver's wheel. It's not him. He comes out every so often, he does the song and dance, he shakes someone's hand, sniffs a kid, tries not to sniff a kid, but usually sniffs a kid, right? He's not in the driver's seat. There is a intelligence network, and there is a network of people that are extremely powerful. And Biden is the sock puppet. He's the figurehead, right? He's the face. But they can choose, like, whether they put him out there or not. And right now they have a stranglehold. you know what? A lot of people are going to turn around. They're going to be like, look, Matt, why would you vote for, now I don't live in Georgia, but why would you vote for Shane Hazel, right? And hand the Senate and total supermajority control over to the Democrats. I'm not a collapsitarian, but I actually kind of wanted that. Because this is the only way. This is the only way that people wake up. Like, it's unfortunate. But some people have to be at the precipice or even fall to wake up. Right? Shane did this country a service. He did this country a service because he showed you what the Republicans really were. And he allowed for the Democrats to show you who they really are. The question is, will you actually notice? Like, will you pay attention? I hope you do. I hope you do, because that is the awakening. Like, this is the opportunity. The now is the opportunity. This is the election cycle. You see them for who they are. I'm going to play you a clip. This is Nancy Pelosi talking in all her altruistic glory, okay, of how, the stimulus was a way to help people and make sure that Americans were taken care of. And it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids, right? It's all about the kids. We're going to do the stimulus and we're going to do the universal background checks because it's all about the kids. Because I don't give a fuck about when they're an adult, because I'll be dead and gone, and when they're paying taxes out the ass and the dollar has cratered, I won't be here. But in the meantime, I just have to pay for my gigantic fridge and my $20 gelato and my huge palatial estate. That's all I have to care about. But I have to sell you a story as to why this is what's right for you. Just watch this video. Like, watch this video and try not to throw up in your mouth. Watch this.
They talked about children in school. When I talked about this legislation yesterday, I talked about it in terms of America's children. Children are my why I went from housewife to House Speaker, because of the children, that 1 in 5 children in America lives in poverty. As a mother of 5, I couldn't abide that and wanted to make a difference in public policy. 1 in 5 goes to sleep hungry at night. That was even before the coronavirus. And I've always said that the 3 most important issues facing the Congress are our children, our children, our children. Their health, their education, the economic security of their families, including the pension security for their grandparents, and an environment in which they can thrive safely, a world at peace in which they can reach their fulfillment. Well, the first 3 of those, their health, their education, and the economic security of their families, was very much affected by the Biden American Rescue Plan. I'm very proud of what it does for children, their health, their education, and the economic security of their families. Today on the floor, we go to that 4th place, a safe environment in which our children can thrive by passing the background check legislation. It's hard to imagine legislation being more popular than the rescue plan, 75%, whatever. This legislation, background checks, closer to 90%. Bipartisan support across the country.
Bullshit! Bullshit! Show me the receipts. Show me the receipts, Nancy. 90% across the country. The only way you could say that is if you include... Look, I don't know what's worse. I put a poll out on Twitter a couple weeks back, and I wanted to know what's worse, a gun grabber or someone who says that they're Second Amendment, pro-Second Amendment, but they're okay with all this bullshit that gets shoved down our throats. I still don't know what the answer is. I'm leaning towards I'm leaning towards the people who say they're pro Second Amendment. Like I said tonight to Nick Magner, I definitely hit up Nick Magner for Freedom, who's running for assembly, dude. The fake supporters, look, Dan's right. Like Blue Star, by the way, if you are a pro Second Amendment person, if you are pro just civil liberties and rights and freedom, go to Blue Star Union, okay? Go to Blue Star Union, go to their merch store, make a donation. These guys are killing it in New Jersey, fighting socialism like has never been seen. The socialist countries in this world right now have yet to spawn a government that is as oppressive and as big as that was spawned by the Constitution of the United States. Just put that in your cheek and suck on it for a second. Socialist countries are an ineffective leech, okay? The most effective leech, the most effective succubus that's ever been created is the American government, and it was created by the Constitution. These guys fight it. Go to Blue Star Union. Give a donation. Fake supporters are the worst, dude. FUDs, man. FUDs. They sit there and on one side of their mouth they say that they're pro-Second Amendment, and then the next word out of their mouth is, but. There's no fucking but. All laws are infringements, especially when it comes to the Second Amendment. Especially when it comes to the Second Amendment. I don't know if you can afford one, but you need an N1 Abrams. You need one. You know why? Because when there's a problem, the government will fucking send one to your house. So you need one. All laws are infringements. BlueStarUnion.com. Throw them a donation. This is like the hubris. Like, look at her. Like, if she didn't have the mask on, I wish I could throw like maybe I could show like a still here. Like, if I pause this, if she didn't have the mask on, okay, she's probably laughing her fucking lady balls off behind that mask right now. Because of 90% support? Shut the fuck up. In America, with the 30, 40 million gun owners, 90% support? Stop. Stop. Impossible. This is like, they are lying to you to your face, and they laugh. They laugh. Because we pay attention to the wrong shit. If you don't pay attention to this, now here's the good thing. We might be lucky in that there might be one Democrat, maybe two with a conscience in the Senate. The other thing that we're lucky about is they can't use budget reconciliation to get this through the Senate. They need 60 votes. They're not going to get it. So we luck out from that standpoint. But you see the direction that they're headed in. You see the direction that they're going. They put the guns between them and you, and they take away yours. I was having dinner with someone earlier tonight, and he said, you know what? I don't think universal background checks are necessarily that big of a deal. We can do them efficiently, especially if we get the police out of the way. That's the wrong answer, man. You know why? Because universal background checks aren't just like a check mark. They check you for various things that could come up in your background, right? Former record in terms of laws that you've broken. Maybe lists that you're on with the FBI or the NSA or various other alphabet organizations, the ATF. They're going to check you for mental history backgrounds. Well, guess what? All that stuff can be manipulated by central authority to limit who can get a firearm. And it can be done for the most nefarious reasons. If you don't walk in lockstep with their politics, they will find a way that when you do the universal background check that is very easy and efficient, you don't get to defend yourself. They will find a way. That's what's wrong with it. The other thing is, laws can't take away your rights. I should just, like, I should just have it on record. Like, just have, like, a voice memo and just play it over and over and over and over again. Laws can't take away your rights. They can't. And the more people buy into this system where they think their laws are being taken away. Shane had Dan Berman on last night with Greg Neely. Greg's running for governor here in New Jersey, okay? We need to send him his support on Twitter. Go follow Mealy for New Jersey, okay? And give him a shout. Retweet his stuff. We need to get some attention for Greg. Because these other, the rhinos and the Democrat lights and the socialist that's currently the governor, we can't have them anymore. But the answer is, even if we lose, we need to stop feeding the beast. We need to starve it of money, of compliance, of support. Starve the beast. Don't let it have dominion over you. If it weren't for the fact that I had people to vote for that I truly believe would decentralize power, I would be an agorist. Shit, I might not even be in this country anymore. The only way that you can take their power away from them is stop contributing. Stop participating in their rigged game. That's the only way. It's terrible to contemplate how few politicians are hanged. Dude, back in the day, man, if they pulled this shit in the late 1700s, early 1800s, could you imagine? Could you imagine people that still had either fought in the Revolutionary War or had close relatives who had fought in the Revolutionary War? Can you imagine? If it wasn't for the fact that it was so French, the guillotines would have been really popular. Now, I'm not advocating violence. I'm not. But the problem is that when it comes to your front door, what recourse do you have? The Boog's not wrong. If you haven't seen my interview with Magnus Panvidia, go check that out, dude. That guy's freaking amazing. Amazing. One of the most intelligent, straightforward thinking people that I've ever met. Shatters stereotypes. Everyone who's a conventional thinker, when he first starts to talk, you would think that he's going to have some alt-right bullshit come out of his mouth. It's the complete opposite. It is true freedom and liberty. And we are the crazy people for saying it. We're the crazy people for actually audibilizing it. Because everyone else is that Judas sheep that leads all the rest of the sheep into the slaughterhouse. That's it. Dude, Bryce down in Georgia. Shane, if you're still on, my family's down there. Bryce gets it. That lead deficiency to paraphrase Shane, that lead deficiency that you have, we're going to cure that pretty damn quick. But that's only if we feel attacked. But quite frankly, the state attacks us at every turn without any repercussion. What's going to happen in Minneapolis? What's going to happen? But more importantly, what have we learned with Chauvin on trial? What have we learned from that interaction and all the media and everything like that? What have we learned? What's going to happen is no one's going to be happy with the result of that trial. They're not. Just think about it. He's not going to get a life sentence. He's not going to get, executed, right? So he'll either get some knockdown sentence or they'll find a way to get him off. And then Minneapolis will burn. And here's the thing that needs to be learned from that situation. And here's the thing from all these situations. Whether it's the naked cowboy getting arrested, whether it's the video of the dude getting beaten with the baseball bat in Brooklyn a couple of weeks ago, whether it's, just unlimited number. The little girl in Germany who walked over and literally put a hand on a police officer and got carried away and arrested. The one thing that we're going to learn is if you were someone who saw that happen and you just watched and let it happen, you're the fucking problem. Where are all the people when this shit goes down that hold the state to the truth of what matters? Rights and freedom. I'm not advocating for insurrection. I'm not advocating for a fight. But what I'm advocating for is the fact that there are more of us than them, and if you present a united front and know your rights, they will back down. They have to. When George Floyd was having his neck knelt on, what was everyone doing? I get that it was important to have video to document what was happening. What was everyone else doing? Taking it in? Walking by? The video of the dude getting beaten by the guy with the bat in Brooklyn, like 30 people walked by. Didn't say shit. Didn't do anything. Not my business. I don't care. Someone should have tackled that motherfucker in both instances. I get it. You're afraid. You have kids. You have a house. You have a mortgage. You have a job. I get it. I understand. The problem is that most people don't fight back until they have nothing to lose. And when you get to that point, you fucking lost everything. Just look at what happens overseas. Just look at what happens as the result of our disastrous foreign policy in other countries. We get attacked by people that have nothing to lose. That's what happens. We are close to that. And don't even get me started on foreign policy. If you have the chance, read Enough Already by Scott Horton. We're reading it right now. Libertarian Book Club, March 27th, the night of March 27th. We'll be live here on my channel and on the Blue Star Union channels. We'll be live casting our book club, talking about Enough Already. It's time to end the war on terrorism. The problem is that the war on terrorism doesn't just affect people in other countries. It directly affects American citizens. That's why people that are all gung-ho about bombing other countries or occupying other countries without an official declaration of war, they don't get it. They don't understand. When you treat people overseas like that, the legislators, the people in the cathedral, that's a testing ground. They figure out how much you can fuck with someone before they fight back or they go crazy or they strap a bomb themselves. And then they take what they learn over there and they bring it back here. That's how you get a stimulus of $1.9 trillion and all you get is $1,400 from it. 10%. That's it. If you qualify. That's how you get that. They figure out how much of a little treat, a nugget that they can give to you to shut you the fuck up. Meanwhile, all their friends get the money. They get the bag. All those companies, all those organizations, all those not-for-profits, they're getting the majority of that money. And Pelosi has the nerve to stand in front of the American people and say, it's about the children. That's what got me from being a housewife to being the Speaker of the House. It was about the kids. She's enslaving your fucking kids. And your grandkids. And your great-grandkids. She loves children because they grow up to be slaves. Regardless of what color their skin is. Regardless of where they come from. That's why she loves your kids. That's why she wants to take care of them. Or at least say that she's taking care of them. She wants you to think that they are. I can't, like, I almost blew up my wife, and she, like, feels the same way I do. And I had to apologize and say, I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at you. Like, I'm livid. I'm absolutely livid by what's going on right now. And I'm not that dude. For most of my life, I've been non-confrontational. Like, for most of my life, I don't like getting in fights. I don't think they solve anything. But I also come from a bloodline where I take it and I take it and I take it, and then I blow up. And I see that about to happen. It's coming. And there's multiple reasons why. There's multiple places that we could look for fault. It's tyrannical leaders that overstep their power. It's us who are complicit, right? Like, it's the V for Vendetta video where it's like you have to look no further than the mirror. It's us. It's also them. But it's going to get to the point where we have nothing left to lose. Right? That's always the question, is at what point in time do you fight back? At what point in time do you put up a resistance? Do you wait until there's nothing left? At what point in time do you change your mind? Right? Like, when something's not going right in your life, do you just play it out to the bitter end until you self-destruct and then you figure it out? Some people do. In fact, a lot of people do. I can't, like, I can't even begin to tell you the upbringing that I came from, like, came from a reverence and a trust in what America was, like how it was founded. I had an episode where I had Shane and Adam Kokesh on, and they had to set me straight. Like, there were certain things that I had to be, like, I hate to use this word because it's like a socialist control kind of word, but I had to be deprogrammed. Like, I had to be cleansed of the stuff I had in the past. And some of that was this just kind of blind trust in the document and the philosophy of the Constitution. It was this blind trust in the fact that, politicians have the best intentions. They don't. They don't. They are just as selfish and self-absorbed and greedy as the worst of us. They're no better. And they are not some, like, lofty, untouchable class. This is not a caste system. Or at least it wasn't intended to be. But we've reached a point now where, they are so wrapped up in what they've been doing that they don't know any different. And we're so wrapped up in the way that we've been treated and what to expect that a lot of us don't know any different. But if I could give one gift to everyone, it's that first breath of free air. It's that first breath after you find out what the truth of it is. It's freeing, and it's scary, and it's amazing. But when you begin to see the world and the country and politics through that lens, it is empowering. It gets you to want to run through a wall to fix what the problem is. And the problem is that we've lost the sense of individualistic freedom and voluntarism that is at the heart of being an American or just a person, regardless of what country you live in. But we've become the thing that we used to fear the most, that we used to hate, that we fought wars against. We've become that. And we've not only just become it, like, in the slightest way, we've become the worst manifestation of it. Like, the worst. When you begin to tally the body count of what we've done as a country over the last 100 years, of being the world's policeman, of sticking our nose into other countries' business, of incarcerating record numbers of our own people who die in prison or become worse criminals and animals when they get out, because it's not rehabilitation. It's the exact opposite. When you tally that body count, when you tally the body count of all of the people that have died because of regulations with respect to health care and health technology, when you tally the body count in terms of the amount of corruption that is inherent in things like the FDA and pharmaceuticals that get people hooked without notifying them of that propensity before they put the first pill in their mouth. The drug war that kills countless numbers of people, whether they be users, dealers, police officers. Here's the one thing that you can commiserate with police officers. They die too. Do not trample on someone's grave. They die too. They're caught up in this too. But you know what? You have to be able to separate the person from the action. And while you can pity a family that loses a family member, you also have to see with clarity and understand that if that family member died in the course of violating someone else's rights, that is not someone to revere. It's not. Pity the loss of that life, but do not revere that person. Do not have blind faith in a system that puts people in that position and makes them think that that's their job. Do not support that system. Withdraw from it. Every single one of these systems, whether it be socialist or fascist or any of these regimes that have basically controlled the lives of the people that live under them, they all find ways to use the people against each other. It breaks down when all of the people figure out that they're all getting screwed. If you're a police officer and you're one of the police officers, and I did a video on this a couple of months ago, if you're one of the police officers that when a governor said, you know what, we're going to restrict people and they have to wear masks and all this other stuff, and if you're one of those sheriffs or police officers that went, no, fuck you, that's not my job. My job is not to infringe on people's rights. I appreciate you. I hope that you're consistent with it. I hope that it's not just when it comes to coronavirus. I hope that it is when it is everything that you abide by that. But you're probably in the minority. But there is so much blood on this system's hands. It cannot be looked at as this amazing thing anymore. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be revered. We should see the truth of it. And we should withdraw from it. Either through secession or for voting for people that legitimately promise to destroy it and rip it out from the root. Or hell, look, if you have to, leave. I get it. I'm not going to fault anyone. Like these people who are like, fine, go to Canada or whatever. I mean, first of all, if you're going to Canada, you're not getting anything better than you get here in the United States. But if you leave, if you leave New Jersey and you go to Texas, if you leave California and go to Florida, I can't fault you. At the very least, you're kind of helping. I mean, you're not staying to fight the fight, but at least you're kind of helping because you're taking away the tax money. You're taking away one more person that they can oppress. Just don't go to one of those other states and then have the same problem and make the same mistake. Just please don't. One last pitch. I know I highlighted Blue Star Union. I would be remiss not to highlight they do not support me, but they support friends of me and my show. Lorenzotti coffee, fantastic coffee. You get a discount if you put in another code that Blue Star Union has. But I find myself always doing that one. So here's, if you go to Lorenzotti Coffee, go get some fantastic coffee, put in Frankie Says. It's right there on the screen. Frankie Says. Says. No spaces. Donations will be made with those orders to Feed Philly. Feed Philly. And it is a fantastic organization that helps homeless folks in the Philadelphia area get food. We don't need to rely on the government. We don't. There's more than enough altruistic people and people that have the big enough heart to give back and to help our fellow man. We have enough of those people. We don't need some government agent with a gun to force us to give our money to do it. Left to our own devices, we do it voluntarily. Lorenzotti.coffee. Let me recheck that one. Lorenzotti.coffee. LORENZOTTI.coffee. If you go there, order something, put in code Frankie Says, and you'll get 10% off. And on top of that, a donation gets made to Feed Philly. Look, I'm going on an hour. I could rant about this, like, maybe one night I'll have to do a marathon, but I could rant about this indefinitely because there's just so much low-hanging fruit. It's like tomorrow there'll be something else, right? But until we fight back, until we know our rights, until we begin to actively withdraw from the system, it's going to keep going. It's time to fight while there's something left to fight for. If you are interested, if you're not a part of it, look up, just Google Mises Caucus. M-I-S-E-S. Mises Caucus. I'm not even going to tell you, if you want to be part of the Libertarian Party, you can. But more importantly, look up the Mises Caucus. M-I-S-E-S. Mises Caucus. Google it. Go to the website. Find out about it. Sign up. Help us bring freedom and liberty, true freedom and liberty, to the people in this country. Help us be able to deliver on what this country was actually founded on, the individual. And we are fighting like hell to make that a focal point of not just the next election, but the next and the next and the next and the next. And these are people who are not afraid to tell you the truth. And the truth is that the system is broken. And we can simultaneously try and dismantle it from the inside and the outside. Mises Caucus. Look, thank you very much for joining me. I know I'm going on an hour. My usual time is Tuesday at 5 p.m. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Look, I love every single one of you. And look, I'm looking forward to more of these. I want to root out this shit as soon as it comes about. And thank you for dealing with me being fired up. Monday night, 7:30, Radical Podcast on Shane Hazel's channels. We are going to kick the shit out of this stuff even more. Together, tag team it. 7:30, Monday night, 7:30 Eastern. Check it out. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.